had to say about Michael Jordan in regards to his treatment of his teammates.
Well, look, everybody's got your take on Michael and how rough it was on teammates. I mean, that's
Selective
a large
prosecution.
What's that?
Selective prosecution was the word he used.
Selective prosecution.
That's what Barkley said. Yes.
Look, everybody had a different leadership style. Part of the reason for this documentary, the reason it exists, is because Michael decided, okay, I'm going to be able to sort of control the conversation in terms of why I did what I did and how I did it. And he comes out and says, and Stephen A., you know you've had this conversation with him. He wasn't trying to adopt anybody else's leadership style. He was going to do this his way. And when it worked, then you had to buy in. You heard him during, I thought, the most effective part of The Last Dance, the part that made me reach for a notebook and put my reporter hat back on, is when Michael said, winning has a price. And if you don't want to buy into the mentality I am using here, get out. It's going to be hell for you, I think was the phrase. And so you see all those teammates, You see Will Perdue, you see Winnington, and those guys said, at the time, did it seem like he crossed the line? Yes. As time went on, did we think he was a great teammate? Yes. This is not, look, you can have whatever take you want to have on it, and I understand Charles's take because it was different. But nobody else at that time went as much. I mean, Magic and Kareem on the way in.
What's going on, good people? There you have it. Good evening. That's The Last Dance. For the people that don't know, that's the Bulls documentary that they been airing for the last couple weeks, a month. And it's pretty interesting, don't get me wrong. And for everybody that have seen it so far, they know, what their conversation is about. They know what they're alluding to when they're talking about how Michael treated his teammates. And I'm gonna get to that, but I just want to, to talk about the overview of the whole documentary is pretty cool. You got to really see some in-depth things about these guys. I learned a lot about where some of them college they played, their family life, and Dennis Rodman actually, like women. The Michael Jordan and Steve Kerr situation. The Scottie Pippen, oh my God. This guy here, man. He made a bad decision with his contract, but besides that, man, I didn't like the tactics Scottie Pippen was pulling, man. As far as when Scottie Pippen got injured before the next season came, he could have got a surgery. He waited till the season started to get a surgery. So he sat on the sideline. Then he didn't even want to come back because of his contract. He wanted to get traded, so he continuously to sit out. That was selfish of him. Then another part where he was selfish, when Michael Jordan retired, and it came down to the game-winning shot, and he felt like he was the most popular person on the team, and when Phil Jackson drew a play up for Tony Kukoc, he got upset about it and sat down and shit like, I don't want to go in the game. It's like, nigga, this ain't alley ball or some shit. Nigga, this the NBA. Matter of fact, this the playoffs. You gonna sit down on the side and shit. I didn't like those little tactics. To me, that was like girl shit to me. It's like, what you doing, man? So a lot of that made me lose some respect for Scottie Pippen, man. When he was pulling those type of tactics, man. But other than that, I like him as a player, but I didn't know he did that, to be honest with you, man. To discover that, it was like, and people talk about LeBron be bitching about calls and shit. That was some bitch shit right there. You can't overlook that. We got a Jerry Krause, man. Even though he was on some old, extra shit at times, but we got to give him his respect as a as a front office manager, man, of the team, man. He brought some talent, man. He brought cool coach. He even brought Phil Jackson in, man. We gotta get Jerry Krause his respect, man. This in-depth look, man. You get to see, what these, who was valuable for the team, man. Everybody did their part, man. It was a good team, man. It showed you how they ran that offense and how Jordan, fit into that offense. And a side note for some of y'all who don't think Phil Jackson the greatest coach ever, he one of the greatest. He's my favorite coach of all time. But that just shows you how he did the same thing he did over there. He went to L.A. and did. So that shows you how that offense got to going, and it's pretty interesting, man. But let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Since this the man of the hour, let's talk about Jordan, man. Let's talk about that clip I just played in the introduction. So Jordan, for people that don't know, he basically was tough on his teammates, and Jordan called it. He looked at it as they couldn't take, the treatment from him. They definitely couldn't survive in the NBA. And as you can look at some of the clips, when you watch it, like they still didn't even want to. You could tell they scared to this day. Some of them still don't want to be in his bag. They want to be in his good graces. They don't even want to even say nothing really negative. But I think the only person to me that was being honest was B.J. Armstrong, who was just he was talking. But the rest of them, you can tell, man, they was trying to filter what they were saying. You know what I'm saying? And, they didn't like it. They didn't like how he was treating them. And you can't justify that. Like Michael Wilburn trying to justify that. That's who was talking, trying to say that it worked. And it's like, okay, so it's okay for Walmart to employ a bunch of little kids overseas and shit, and they get the job done. Should we say it worked? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some hypocrite shit, and we got to stop being hypocrites. I like Mike, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like his character. I don't like him him as a person, but I like how he is one of the greatest ball players ever. But yeah, fathers him socially, nah, on his character and shit. He seemed like he has a good personality, but fathers his character, certain things I don't like about him. And, socially, he don't get socially involved in nothing. But, I didn't agree with that. I understand where he was going with it, but, he went too far. Like, you trying to question Phil Jackson during practice because he calling a foul because you trying to push, bully, verbally abuse Steve Kerr. So he was taking up for him, and you got mad and wanted to push Steve Kerr and foul him. Then, when y'all got into y'all little altercation, you apologize. He apologized, but, man, listen, man, I couldn't play. I'd knock Mike's ass out. If I was on that team, me and Mike have a problem. Because, nigga, it ain't your team. Nigga. You a player just like everybody else. You might be the leader. Who is you to say that they shouldn't be beside you? Like, nigga, you the reason that you can get on the court and just beat 5 people by yourself. Nigga, you needed the whole team. Everybody played their part. Pippen played his part. Steve Kerr played his part. You was just the main player. But, nigga, y'all couldn't have won without the whole team. So for you to come out there with for him to come out there with the mindset and feel like, if it's not done or if you're not playing according to how he feel like you should be, nigga, that's Phil Jackson call. Phil Jackson is the coach. You know what I'm saying? And I respect what he was trying to do, but I'm just saying you can't justify. You can't say because it worked, it's okay. That's like saying, well, Trump got them to build a wall. He split those kids and families up. It worked. It worked. He got the wall. Whatever he been doing, it worked. So we can't say nothing wrong with it. For everybody who feel like that's so wrong and, inhumane and that's wrong for him to do that, that's like the same thing agreeing with him. How he mistreating his teammates It's okay because it worked, but we can put this in another scenario. It wouldn't be okay though, because when that's like going to work. Just think about it. That's like you going to a job and a motherfucker telling you, "Oh, well, they ain't got good customer service, so I'm gonna push them and embarrass them, and talk to them any kind of way." That's just me trying to make them tougher. You gonna take that? You gonna take them? You gonna take your boss? You come in and you go on lunch and you say, "I ain't hungry," and your boss say, "You need to eat something." Yo, dumb ass. You need to go to the store and get you something to eat. You need to do this and do that. I know who's taking that type of treatment, because this is the same thing. This is a job, and Michael Jordan ain't even a boss. He ain't even paying them. You know what I'm saying? These basketball players, they're gonna be paid regardless. So it ain't like he's the boss. He's their boss. So that's even worse. He's just a captain of the team. He's just their teammate. But that's even worse. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion, man. That just goes back. When it comes to Mike, people always got some type of justification for this guy. He don't do nothing socially. He don't talk about when crime. When stuff happen in our communities with his shoes, he don't speak up on that. The dude from North Carolina needed his endorsement. He ain't step up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't speak up for no social issues. He might spend some money. That's like a father spending money. Don't spend time with his kids. Shit, I mean, okay, you spending money, whatever. All we need is you to speak on some things. You ain't gotta be Jesse Jackson and be out here on the front line. But damn, nigga, express yourself sometimes. But that's just my opinion, man. My opinion, guys. That's how I feel. Man, make sure y'all subscribe. Drop some comments down there. Let me know how y'all feel. I will be coming at y'all with a video about Mike. Another video. So y'all won't think I'm Mike bashing or he hate Mike. No. There's some things I like about Mike. I did like his work ethic, though, and his attitude. Now, I liked that, and I'll talk about that and collaborate that in another video. But, y'all make sure y'all, y'all tune in with me. This is a People's Perspective podcast, and I'm out.